You're a producer. You hear other people's beats and you're like, man, they're really loud and mine are really quiet. How do I get mine to be louder? My name is El Marquis, musician, rapper, record producer, unashamed prize follower, and today I'm going to show you how to quickly make your beats louder in Logic Pro 10.
El Marquis Productions.
First of all, thank you so much for tuning into this video. I make videos that give tutorials on Logic Pro 10. I also make videos that break down my beat making and songwriting process. I give tips to artists and producers all around the world. Every now and then, I do some product reviews. If any of that interests you, I need you to do me a really quick favor. Go down, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so that way you'll be notified when I make more videos like this, and you'll help other people similar to you see more videos like this. You just got that knocked out? Bet. Let's get into the video. So if you just started making beats, you may notice that when you export your beats or your songs, then you play them back on like your phone or in your car, they may seem quieter in comparison to a commercial song that's on the radio. That's because that song that's on the radio has been mastered. When it comes to the different stages of making music, there's of course the songwriting process, in your case, the beat making process. And after your song is recorded or the beat is produced, you then have to mix the beat, which involves making sure that each element is in its own pocket and everything can be heard, adjusting volume, adding EQ, compression, reverb, etc. Then mastering just puts those final touches on the entire song. You correct any mistakes, you balance out the frequencies, and then also you make your songs louder. So when it comes to making beats, you don't necessarily need to do a full master on them. Specifically in cases where, let's say you're making beats, you're sending them out to other artists who have an engineer who's going to do the full mix of the song anyways. So if you're someone who just wants to knock out as many beats as possible, you may not have to actually spend a whole lot of time mixing and mastering. You may just want to get the levels sounding good enough and then make the beat louder just so the artist can still vibe to it, and then their engineer is just going to do all the heavy lifting for you. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go switch over to the computer and I'm going to show you how to quickly make your beats louder in Logic Pro 10. Alright, so I pulled up a beat that I made and mixed in Logic Pro 10. I also want to clarify that this is not a complete tutorial on mastering. Mastering is a whole other process in addition to mixing, and I'm just focusing on loudness. There are other steps in mastering other than just making your track louder, but I'm just focusing on loudness right now. As you can see, I have my own mastering chain that I just bypassed for right now, and I bypassed them just because I only want to focus on loudness right now. And all these different plugins do add something to my beats that I like, and that to my ears improves the sound of it, but I just bypassed them. I just want to show you what you can do with stock Logic plugins to get your beats louder. So I'm going to play a little bit of this beat just to give you an idea of what we're working with. Alright, cool. So the beat is pretty well mixed. All the instruments are where I want them to be. Everything is as loud and as clear as I want them to be. Cool. The only problem right now is that it's too quiet. So if I sent the beat as is to an artist right now through their email, the beat itself is good, but the artist may perceive it as not as good as someone else's beat that they also got sent that same day because the other guy's beat is louder. So to fix this problem is actually really easy. So the first thing that you need to do is make sure that you have some headroom on your stereo out channel. Engineers usually recommend between -3 and -6 dB of headroom, so that way when they go in and mix and master the beat themselves, they have headroom to do their own mastering. So actually I'll play the beat again and pay attention to this meter right here. -4.7 right now, -3. Cool, that's good enough. Alright, cool, so there's headroom, perfect. So now how do we make sure the beat is loud? Well, so you can achieve loudness pretty much with two plugins. So I've got this multimeter that actually I'll show you where it is first. You go down to metering, and go down to multimeter, and you have this. The multimeter can be used for multiple things, such as showing the frequency spectrum of your beat or your song, as well as your LUFS and RMS levels, which analyze how relatively loud your song is. And then here's the plugin that you're actually going to use to make your beat louder, the limiter. So you go over here, go to dynamics, go to adaptive limiter, go to stereo. So basically what a limiter is a really hard compressor. It takes your signal and it compresses it so that way it appears to sound louder. It does this by reducing the dynamics of your song or your beat. So you want to be careful to not over compress it, because then if you don't have any dynamics for certain genres of music, it's not going to sound as good. Or if you're working in genres like hip hop, trap, EDM, where you want it to be really loud, maybe you might want to crank it up. So what you need to do is over here on true peak detection, turn that on. For the out ceiling, tuning. I turn it to -1 dB because as of the recording of this video, that's what Spotify recommends to real mastering engineers. In the past, I've seen some people say -0.1 dB or -0.2 dB. I like setting it to -1. What that's doing is ensuring that your signal does not go past -1 dB. When your beat or your song goes over 0, it's clipping, it's distorting, and it will be playing at a volume that could potentially just, one, not sound good or professional, and two, could possibly damage your speakers. So we want to make sure that it's not going past -1 dB. And then the way to actually make your beat louder is to start cranking up the gain knob. How much you crank it up depends on how loud you want your beat to be. And of course on the multimeter, it'll show you how loud it is. So I'm going to play the beat and I'm going to crank up the gain knob, and then I'll stop it where I think it's loud enough. Cool with that. Right there is good enough for me, actually, which is almost all the way up. So what I'm listening for is I want the beat to be as loud as possible without any really audible distortion. So in a situation like this where, let's say you're just making the beat louder and you're sending it to another artist, it really doesn't matter too much about paying attention to meters, in my opinion, because you're going to have someone else master it anyways. But if you do care about the numbers and if you care about making it loud enough, mastering engineers pay attention to the LUFS levels and the RMS levels. I think Spotify recommends -14 LUFS, and for RMS I've heard people recommend anywhere between -10 to -7. Anywhere between -10 RMS and -7 RMS gives a good balance between loudness and dynamics. So I'll play this again as is. So it might be distorting a little bit so you can bring it down. When it comes to beats, I personally aim for around -7 to -8. Do what sounds good to you. And by doing this, you're pretty much done. It's super quick to get your beats louder. So I'll show you the before and after of what we did. Here's before we put the limiter on the beat. And now here's what. Easy. Super simple. So if I were to send this off to an artist right now who already has their own mixing engineer who's going to do the mixing and mastering work for me, I'd be cool with exporting it as is right now. I would send this to the artist if they just asked you to send them some beats to listen to. And then if they either purchase the beat from you or if they're going to record at a studio, what I'd personally do, I don't know if other people do this, what I personally do is I bypass whatever limiters I have and export another file of the beat without the limiter on. So that way, when the engineer goes in to mix and master the song, they have headroom, so then they can master it however loud that they want it to be, and so that way it doesn't further compress the beat. I've noticed that a lot of producers actually, they still keep the limiter on. It's a personal choice. When I'm mixing songs for other people, I personally prefer to mix beats that don't already have a limiter on, but that's just my personal preference. All right, so let's summarize the main points of this video. So if you want to quickly increase the volume of your beats, first make sure that there is headroom on your stereo out channel. Make sure there's between -3 and -6 dB. Pull up your limiter, turn it on, make sure the ceiling is at -1 dB. Increase the gain to where it's loud but not distorting, and then make sure that your levels are correct by using the multimeter. And then find the loudest section of your beat or your song, play it, and then just crank up the gain until it's loud enough to you. And now there you go, your beat's loud, your beat is ready to send off to an artist. They can vibe out to it, they can write to it, they can record to it. And now you just learned how to quickly make your beats louder in Logic Pro 10. Thank you for watching this video. If you like what you've seen today, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you know whenever I upload new videos. Also, be sure to visit my website, lmarquisproductions.com, where you'll be able to check out my music, my beats, my sample kits, my merchandise, as well as my mixing, mastering, and consulting services. Now go down in the comment section below and let me know if you have any questions about anything that we discussed today, and what other Logic Pro 10 tutorials do you want to see. My name is L Marquis Productions. God bless.